There is a key movement in Bitcoin. What is the market outlook? If you are interested in this issue, please follow me to read. You are very welcome to join the WSOT Quinto team. At present, we are the team with the largest number of Chinese speakers. And the #1 ranking in Chinese. Well, at present, we are actually not far from the top 10. That is, the rankings that can share the bonus. In addition, our record is definitely the top and the best in Chinese. We have the best chance to share the bonus. You are very welcome. Join the Kabito team. So you just need to join. We will draw 3 friends every day to get a 30 USDT cash reward. And I will transfer it to you directly. You can find out that this friend got it yesterday. And he just needs to send a letter to the assistant. We will transfer the money directly to them in the mailbox. You can see that this is our reply letter. We have indeed forwarded it to them. Then we will directly draw out our 3-digit number today. Okay. 776, 232, and 771. Friends can get 30 USDT each. So you are very welcome to join my team to share the bonus. Well, let's go back to the Bitcoin board. We are now. In fact, we had a very important signal yesterday on the daily line. But because of me yesterday, my fingers were burned. The video was actually recorded. But I couldn't type. So the video couldn't be sent out. Today is a little better. You can see the 3 candlesticks we are walking now. He is very similar to the 3 candlesticks there. He was very similar to the 3 K-lines I had in this place at that time. And this kind of K-line combination is almost the same. In fact, our rebound in this wave is basically 2. I think these 2 opportunities are the most worthy of us. The first type that we grasp belongs to us. Now we are going to start our next wave of rise. That is, we will start the next wave of big market rise in the future. Of course, this kind of rise is the second type of big level. That is, we take a dead cat jump, a dead cat rebound, and then continue to fall in the end. Of course, the dead cat jump will continue to rise. But the first rise does not break the previous high. The point is that the second rise is not worth it. What we are worth doing is that the decline in the latter paragraph is the characteristic of a dead cat jumping. So how can we distinguish which of these 2? Okay. In fact, we can use a more neutral way, that is, we can use it according to the occurrence. If the probability is used to sort, I believe that the analysis will be relatively neutral. So let's take a look at our current situation. Let's list a few key points. The first is that you can find out whether he has stepped out of our next position. A wave of rising can turn into this kind of bullish trend. In fact, there are. You can find that our current rising is no problem even if it is the initial stage of the trend. However, we still need to see overwhelming volume in the follow-up. In fact, based on the current amount of energy, it is still quite good at the very early stage. Because if we compare the previous paragraph, you can find that his amount of energy is not inferior to the starting point of the previous paragraph. It is inferior to that. But how can we be sure that our next wave of market is really launched? We must see a huge amount, like what we saw in this position at that time. So we can conclude that what we are behind will indeed be there is a wave of market. But we have to wait until such a signal appears. Then we can be sure that our rise like before is actually accompanied by volume. With this volume, we dare to say that the market wave really started. And the amount of energy that we exploded here at that time, I believe that such an amount of energy can be recognized by the naked eye is very significant. Let's take a look at our current market. In fact, I have already placed a long-term bottom position. I have already placed a long-term bottom position. Then I will explain the logic clearly in the whole video. Then we can analyze the situation of short positions. If we say that we will be a dead cat if there is a rebound, then we have to do a complete distribution in the front. And it is a false breakthrough. This kind of false breakthrough is the most serious. That is, if we make a false breakthrough, the amount of short positions will definitely increase. Very, very significant. It must be very significant. Because if it is a false breakthrough, then it is the position where the main force mainly sells goods. In fact, if I say that it is a distribution here, I will also see the distribution of the upper box like this. Only the top is like this. If it is said that there is only such a small section of cabinets at the top, there is no way for him to reverse the trend of our entire segment. Therefore, we must see this. If we are looking at this cabinet, then he must be at the top of this section. It is a false breakthrough. If we talk about a false breakthrough, we will definitely see a very overwhelming volume of short positions. But you can find that our current overwhelming volume is really such a situation for short positions. No, absolutely no. We can at most say that he is relatively evenly matched in the back. And even if we observe the entire shock of the entire market, the entire shock range above must be relatively strong. Even if we go short in the end, I believe we will continue to rise. And there will be another exhaustion. That is, continue to rise. And then continue to decline. And then we will have a short-dominated range at the top. Then I will think that our last period of this wave of rise has ended and will eventually come to an end. It's going down. In fact, even if we talk about it now, even if we say it, we think he's going to be exhausted. But he is actually only exhausted. Okay, let's see if there's any deviation in his weekly line. It's true that he's only exhausted for a while. That's okay. Let's come integrating this wave of rising with this wave of rising. Its intensity has been reduced. But you can find that we are actually on the daily line. We have experienced several failures before. And they are all continuous failures. That is, even if this kind of failure signal appears, what should we do so that we can regard it as a very important signal? That is, the priority has begun to increase. That is, it will have multiple consecutive failures. Such as what we were in this position at that time. We can clearly identify the exhaustion from the MACD. He experienced multiple failures. There is another point. I also think it is very classic. That is, after we went through this period of rise, he also experienced multiple failures. This can actually be confirmed. We said before that the market has inertia. The market usually goes longer and farther than we imagined. Indeed. I personally don't deny that. We have definitely reached the end of the bull market. But whether it is the end, or even worth it, we started shorting. I believe this is a question that we still need to think about. If we don't release the amount of energy in the end, it is very likely to continue to fluctuate. Let's rank equal to and greater than the probability first. I think the probability of long and long is equal to that of horizontal. Then their probability is greater than short. But if you go long, how will it go? I believe it will directly go up a wave, and a big wave is our next wave of this kind of large-scale rise. If we talk about going sideways, we won't discuss it in particular. If we talk about going short, what about him? I believe that he will not plummet directly. I also believe that he will go dead cat jump. Dead cat jump. Exhaustion. Dead cat jump or exhaustion. I believe this is our judgment on the current market. This is the probability of going long. And going sideways, the probability is more difficult to distinguish. It is difficult for us to distinguish the difference. Before there is a huge amount. Looking at the probability, the short position will also die if it goes away. This kind of failure, is more likely. This is my current judgment on the disk is at the daily line level. If we cut it down to the 4-hour level, we can find that we have been talking about this position before. This trend line is very important. And I also think that we are currently. He is testing this trend line on the disk. Let's see if he has 5 contact points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will it break through at this position? Will it cause a violent rise? This is what we will observe carefully next the key point. I think the most important thing is that we have to observe whether there is a breakthrough here. If we break through this position, it will be around 30450. If the position of 30,450 is broken through, then I will think that we have no advantage in short-term short positions. There is no short position. I will be very concerned about any possibility of such a sharp drop. If we look at this position from the perspective of bulls, of course I have already placed a bottom position. Why? The first one is because we broke the bottom ahead of us. Needless to say, the follow-up rise is not small. Don't underestimate us. From the lowest point of breaking the bottom to the present, there is still a distance of more than 5%. More than $1,500 is definitely not small. Then again. We have already after swapping this position. He stepped on it again. In the early stage, it was used as a support. And after breaking through, it formed a resistance to form a resistance. Now we have stepped on the original resistance and turned it into a support. So we step on this position firmly. I think it is relatively safe. If we go to place multiple orders and other operations, and our position, the exchange here, it happens to be the lower edge of our box in the early stage. You can find that it is the lower edge of our box. So now I will in fact, after the market rises, it is gradually becoming more beneficial to the bulls. But before his huge amount appears, it is difficult for us to judge whether it will cause such a really violent rise. Well, you are welcome to help me with the video. Like, subscribe, share, and turn on the little bell is the biggest support for me. By the way, we are now recruiting people and analysts for the Cointo team. We have found a physical workplace in Taipei City, which is quite lively. You can walk to Nanjing Fuxing Station within 5 minutes. So it is very convenient to take the MRT. The working hours are normal from Monday to Friday. And we have registered as a company official, such as labor health insurance, etc. Yes, we have provided a fixed salary of 40,000 to 50,000 NT dollars. And then added bonuses, then as long as you have trading experience in the currency circle. You have points, you analyze it yourself. And if you are trading and the results are good, you can follow we apply to contact me in any way. Or you can send a letter directly to the assistant's mailbox. Which is no problem. Thank you very much. Everyone is very welcome. You are welcome to recruit us. We are looking for analysts. You are very welcome. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.